Bam bam ba bam bam ba bam bam ba ba bam bam ba 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 ba. Hello, you wonderful people. Connor Whitmore here again with another video for you on the Nawtystep channel, and today I'm going to be talking about Marauda's Avoidable Cause. So over the last 3 or 4 years or so, Hamish Prasad, aka Marauda, formerly known of course as Mastodon, has become one of the most revered producers in dubstep music. You know, EPs for Never Say Die, sold out shows across the world, establishing his own imprint, Malignant Music, all of that at just 19 years old. I mean, yeah, pretty sure he's still a teenager. If I'm wrong, correct me on that. Along the way, formulating a very identifiable brand of tear-out dubstep music that originally singled him out, and, you know, it was like that for a couple of years or so, as you all know, but which has had its drawbacks as more and more people have imitated it over time. You know, I'm all for people putting their own spin on the style of music. Multiple people have taken tear out in their own direction without it sounding distinctly like Marauda, but there are some where the imitation is a little more obvious, and that's what I want to touch on today. Now, I had no idea or awareness of this at all, but when this was revealed to me as a thing, and I won't mention who sent the information my way in case they don't want to be baited out or known or anything like that, but the more I think about it, or this subject in particular, you know, what I'm about to talk about, the more I can't believe I didn't notice it earlier. Said information, or reveal, being that Marauda's recently released tune, Avoidable Cause, which came out just over a week ago, according to some people, is a diss track of sorts in response to Phase 1's tune from a few months ago entitled Inevitable Outcome. Now, off the bat, the titles of the tunes already kind of give that away, and knowing that Inevitable Outcome was released months ago and Avoidable Cause came out just over a week ago, the latter coming way after, it's clearly a response. You know, Marauda flipping Phase 1's title directly and essentially saying, you mimicking my style was avoidable. And I mean, as a response to a track called Inevitable Outcome, I think it's pretty clever. But where, you might ask, does the mimicking take place? Well, let's dive in. At this point, it's also important to note that it's alleged Phase 1's other recently released track, Make It Bump, which was a part of Alliance Volume 6 from Disciple, the compilation, lends quite heavily from another Marauda ID, which has yet to be put out, hasn't been put out yet. I myself can't comment heavily on it, seeing as I haven't heard the ID, but I've seen a few people saying it, quite a few people, and it seems like it has proven to be the tipping point for Marauda in terms of going through with Avoidable Cause, you know, releasing that tune and giving it that title. It could be complete rubbish, again, I haven't heard it, but the fact that Marauda has gone ahead with putting out that tune, giving it that title, Avoidable Cause, in response to Inevitable Outcome, makes me think there might be something in it. The second main drop of which, Avoidable Cause I mean, is a pretty direct replica of the flow used by Phase 1 on Inevitable Outcome. A motif, I hasten to add, I would associate with Marauda, and which I must admit, when I heard Inevitable Outcome for the first time, when I was reviewing it, I did sit there and kind of find myself thinking, this does sound like a Marauda Mastodon tribute of sorts. I mean, just to be clear, here we have Phase 1 borrowing from Marauda and Marauda replicating that. Just gonna play the examples now. Okay, first up, Inevitable Outcome.
This was an inevitable outcome.
Now, Avoidable Cause. I mean, there is also a bit crushed sample around 2 minutes into Avoidable Cause that seems to say this was an inevitable outcome. Again, let's just check it here.
This was an inevitable outcome.
Now, I can imagine that many of you might be like, well, that's a bit of a stretch, I can't hear it clearly. But that was me when I first heard it, and the more I've heard it, the more I've played it, the more I've realised that, yeah, that is what's going on here. And for you guys, I recommend, if you can't quite hear it yet, when you check it out for yourself, just when you've got your headphones on, speaker, whatever, just put it basically as loud as you can hear it, and then it will become clear. Could still be a bit of a stretch for some of you, but a fair few people, myself included, seem or are pretty convinced on that front, and, you know, that was definitely at least the intention, regardless of how it comes across, you know, how it was delivered. And I mean, here now we have the title being the biggest clue of all, the replication of flow from Marauda being another big clue, so it wouldn't be surprising if he did that as well. So just to recap a little bit here, Phase 1 writes Inevitable Outcome, released August 21, which, while steeped in Phase 1 design, undeniable, has a range of moments littered throughout that take straight from the Marauda notebook, the first drop from Phase 1 in that tune in particular. The next part is a bit of speculation from me, from yours truly, but I imagine that Marauda hears it and finds it somewhat annoying hearing someone copying his style yet again. Fast forward to November 6, Alliance 6 comes out, Make It Bump is on there, and according to many, it borrows heavily from a Marauda ID, as in a song that is yet to come out, the ideas taken somewhat, leading to Marauda releasing Avoidable Cause on November 20. A play on Inevitable Outcome through title, certain ideas, and that bit crushed vocal sample, etc. Now, I don't want to see people jumping here or hating on Phase 1 at all. For one, all of this material from him could just be completely innocent, you know, no ripping of ideas or anything similar, anything like that, just him putting his own spin on a particular style, which many have done already, by the way. In a way, it's a sign, I think, of respect and admiration for that style, that he's gone and done his own version of it. Inevitable Outcome also has a lot of amazing things about it that can't go ignored and are particular to him. Phase 1, you know, for example, the introduction on that tune is one of my favourites of the whole year, and it just has Phase 1 written all over it. It's so distinctly him, fantastic. I love it so much. Can't say the same for Make It Bump, simply because I haven't heard that Marauda ID. I can't make those direct comparisons between them to see if he has in fact stolen the ideas. But something tells me that he wouldn't blatantly rip off one artist, the same person twice in a row, but you know, I could be wrong. And if I am wrong, and the opposite is true, and he has intentionally ripped those ideas and used them as his own, don't forget, before that song has come out, and in the other case, pretty blatantly ripping someone's style, then that is pretty bad producer etiquette, you know, not excusable at all. A problem that is rife in this scene and needs putting in check. It simply isn't okay. Just imagine that you establish your brand just for it to be taken like that with no repercussion, no consequence, nothing. If that has happened, really not on. But you know, even if he did do that, I'd still love Marauda to release that ID, just like Skrillex did when Zomboy took his ideas for Terror Squad. You know, all is fair in love and tear out. To think though that just over 2 years ago I made a video saying that Marauda and Phase 1 should collaborate on a tune. I mean, that isn't happening anytime soon, is it? But yeah, just thought that I should bring this situation to attention. It's an interesting one as a topic rife in the scene at large, but which rarely gets put at the forefront of the bass consciousness in this way. So I couldn't not address it once I found out about it, but I would love to know from all of you what you think in the comments. Have you heard the Marauda ID? Is there a likeness between that and Make It Bump? I would love to know if you've heard both. Does Avoidable Cause even borrow from Inevitable Outcome enough to make a thing of it? Let me know again below what you think about that. But beyond that, keep it naughty. If it's naughty, then you know. And I shall see all of you legends in the next one. Subscribe if you're yet to. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Peace.